Alright, welcome to my screencast on using Google Drawings. It's part of the Google suite of applications. It's very similar to using Microsoft Publisher if you've ever used that. I actually have preemptively set up a few shapes that we're going to be using for our tutorial here. Today we're going to create some phases of the moon, help us study. Obviously we want circles because if we had square moons the whole world would end. So first off, if you want to use some shapes, I have mine on my plate already, but you would just go, you would select it. When I use shapes, I like to hold shift to stretch it equally. If you don't hold shift, you can get all sorts of goofy shapes, and that just wouldn't be conducive to creating a nice sphere moon. So I'm going to delete that. One thing that you can do is you can copy and then paste your shapes like that. If you're on a Mac, you have the option of holding Shift Alt. You can just drag right off. Obviously we're making moons. We want 8 of these. There's 8 distinct phases. And what's cool about Google Drawing is that it makes it very easy to line things up for yourself. You see, as I drag this off, I've got these red bars that appear, allowing me to perfectly match up my shapes as I pull them across the screen. Another cool option that I have is I can highlight many things at once. I can bring them down evenly so that all the spacing on my screen is equal and consistent. Makes it real pretty for myself. So now that I've got my 8 shapes, my 8 circles or my 8 moons on our board, we can start making them look a little bit more like the different phases. So for this first one, this is obviously going to be our new moon. We're going to go up to this Format tab. We're going to do fill color all the way down here. In the new moon, from our perspective here on Earth, we don't see anything, so we're just going to fill it in entirely black. We can select the text box tool right up here. We're just going to make a nice text box for ourselves. We can type in new moon. It's great. Text box, just like any other shape, you can Shift Alt, you can pull it across. You'll see it'll duplicate the text in there, which is great. But we obviously don't want to label it new moon. We want to change it, so we would delete that. We could type in waxing crescent. We can Control Alt that on our Mac again, pull it down. Obviously this would not be a waxing crescent. We delete that. Come up here, drag it over. This would be our first water moon. This would be our waxing. Give it a smooth. Now to create some of these shapes, we're going to use these shapes that I have aside for us. Our waxing crescent obviously should be just a little bit lit up, so I can Control Alt Shift that, duplicate that shape. I'm going to line it up right there, and then I'm going to format that tool, and I'm going to fill it with white, because I want to know that that is the portion that's lit up. And then I'm going to select the background shape, change its fill color to black. Now I have a nice representation of a waxing crescent moon. Now the great thing about this is I can highlight this shape. I can right click it and I can group it together. Now what this means is that as I move this around, all of those layers I created stay together. Now what's even better is I can come down here and I can delete this because the nature of our moon cycle, I will simply copy this, paste it, put it where it needs to be, and I can rotate this, and I have already then created my waning crescent moon. I would obviously want to create another text box, go under there, boom, and you can see how easy this is to do very quickly once you know what you're doing. On my first quarter moon, I'm going to go ahead and line that up. You notice how it went behind the shape that I have there. What I want to do is go to order, send backwards. Oh, I clicked on the wrong shape, so I want to make sure that I've selected the right shape, order, bring to front. Notice how now it's shifted. I've got the right shape there. I can then format that, fill it, change my background to black. Just I want to make sure this lines up a little bit nicer. Go in, group these together. I can then, just like before, go in, delete one that I don't need. Get everything put where it belongs. Rotate this because it's the exact opposite of what it's below. And this would obviously be my full moon. I would select this, make it all white. It's bright and big and glorious. I'll add my text box below it so we know this is the full moon. It's great and exciting. So now we've got our new moon, our full moon, our waxing crescent should be over here. Somehow our titles got changed, but that's a very easy fix. Waxing gibbous there. Got our first quarter and our second quarter. Another text box. Moon. Haha, not at second. There we go. And all we have left to do now is to create our gibbous moons. And what's cool is we can easily make a copy of our other moons there. And we would simply change the formatting to all white on these guys. And then we would bring in our crescent moon. If we can find it. We obviously want this to be brought to the front so it's above. And we would change the formatting on this to black because with the gibbous it is mostly lit up. You would then apply your titles to these and you'd be pretty much finished with your diagram. So that's going to conclude our little tutorial on creating phases of the moon with Google Drawings. Thank you. Tune in next time.